UFC 218 is in the books and Max Holloway is still the undisputed featherweight champion. He again stopped Jose Aldo in the third round after allowing the Brazilian to tire before ramping up the pressure and earning the stoppage win. Holloway's striking, resilience and octagon IQ are exceptional. He used a steady diet of straight punches to quickly prove his superiority in the fight. By the third round, a winded Aldo was fighting on hard alone as Holloway's strikes created the same type of cumulative punishment that led to his stoppage win over the former champion in June. Originally, Frankie Edgar was supposed to be challenging Holloway for the title, but he suffered an injury and Aldo stepped in to replace him. Perhaps now Edgar will get the next crack at Holloway. As for Aldo, it's time the future Hall of Famer seriously considered retirement. He's accomplished everything in the sport. Despite being just 31 years old, he is a shadow of what he once was as a fighter. There's nothing else left for him to do but take beatings. Ngannou destroys Overeem in co-main event. Rarely will you see a more savage and definitive one-punch KO. Francis Ngannou landed a sweeping left-hand hooker cut squarely on Alistair Overeem's chin and the Dutch heavyweight went to sleep. Ngannou just punched his ticket, no pun intended, to a title shot against heavyweight champion Stipe Miocic. The champion should be concerned. Leading up to the fight, the UFC was pubbing Ngannou's record-setting power. The Cameroonian made good on the hype and some. The UFC has its next must-see star. All he needs is the title for the final validation. Here are all of the results, announcements and other coverage throughout the night. The results list is below with more analysis just beneath. Big Pretty makes a mess of Alan Crowder. Predictably, Justin Willis made short work of Alan Crowder. The man they call Big Pretty came out like a wrecking ball looking for the early stoppage and he got it. Crowder had no answer for Willis' pressure and power. This was an embarrassing mismatch. The Devastator is a real talent. Dominic Reyes looks like the next legitimate prospect in the light heavyweight division. He maintained his undefeated record with an impressive win over Jeremy Kimball. At the outset, Kimball jumped all over Reyes with pressure. He secured a nice takedown and was in an advantageous position, but Reyes stayed calm, regained his feet and scored his own takedown. Reyes masterfully took Kimball's back, locked in the rear naked choke to earn the submission victory. Al Hassan wins by controversial stoppage. Abdul Razak Al Hassan and Sabah Hamasi were in the midst of the brawl when the former landed a right hand that dropped the latter. It didn't look like a fight-ending punch, but Hamasi went down. For a moment, he looked badly hurt, but seconds later it was clear he wasn't yet at a point where the fight should have been stopped. Unfortunately, referee Herb Dean stepped in at the moment when Hamasi fell to the canvas on the seat of his pants and he stopped the bout. It appeared as though Dean immediately realized he'd made a mistake, but the damage was done. Al-Hassan is still an exciting prospect, but he reminds me too much of Melvin Gillard. He's an amazing athlete with explosiveness, but his defense and fight IQ leave a lot to be desired. As he moves up the ladder, he'll likely run into some problematic foes. Cooper makes it look as easy as ABCs. Amanda Cooper was far too skilled and strong for Angela Magana in the fight past prelims. After a few early leg kicks from Magana, Cooper took her down and pounded on her opponent until referee Keith Peterson had seen enough. Herrig pulls out close decision. This was a fairly boring, but extremely close bout between Felice Herrig and Courtney Casey. Herrig took the controversial split decision. Initially, the decision was booed, but after closely examining the fight stats, it's a permissible result. Casey outstruck Herrig in the first round 22-17, but the latter secured a takedown. In the second frame, Herrig landed one more significant strike. In the final round, Casey seemed to have the advantage. Depending on how you scored the first two rounds, calling Herrig the winner isn't unfathomable. Normally, we'd call for a rematch, but because there was so little action in this bout, no one would want to see another battle between these two. Tamer beats close in another snoozer. The speed advantage was heavily in David Tamer's favor. He used a steady diet of leg and body kicks to gain an advantage over Drakkar Klose. The latter wanted Tamer to stand in front of him and trade shots, but Tamer smartly kept moving despite an egregious warning from Dean. He deserved the decision, although the fight wasn't very entertaining. Yancy Medeiros vs. Alex Oliveira. Bravo. If you want to see what a great mixed martial arts contest looks like, you should watch the Yancy Medeiros vs. Alex Oliveira bout. There were a number of twists and turns, knockdowns, submissions and a lot of effort expended. This one would be fight of the night on almost in any card in history. Paul Felder pounds out Oliveira. In the first round, Charles Oliveira was very close to securing a submission win over Paul Felder, but the Irish Dragon showed excellent defense on the ground. Oliveira appeared to gas in the process. In the second round, Felder kept the fight in close quarters. When it went back to the ground, Felder dropped powerful elbows on his opponent, which caused a tap from strikes. Unfortunately, referee Dan Maragida missed the tap, and that left Oliveira open to take 6 more hard elbows. Finally, Maragida stopped the bout and Felder was victorious. Tisha Torres takes out Michelle Watterson. This spirited battle came down to significant strikes. Tisha Torres outlanded Michelle Waterson 89-38 and she nearly won via stoppage in the third frame. Neither woman looked like a contender ready to take down Rose Namajunas, but the victory aptly resides with Torres. Alvarez wins a war with Gaethje. After an intense and action-packed battle, Justin Gaethje is no longer undefeated. Eddie Alvarez withstood an all-out assault on his legs to pull out one of the biggest wins of his UFC career. The former lightweight champion didn't really check Gaethje's leg kicks, but he banged away at his opponent's body. A punches to the midsection slowed Gaethje down and the body punches proved to be the former World Series of Fighting champion's kryptonite. In the third round, a weakened and fatigued Gaethje dipped his head in the clinch and caught this gruesome knee. He was out and this time Dean appropriately stopped the bout. Alvarez instantly shoots his name back toward the top of the 155-pound rankings. Cejudo outclasses Pettis. Henry Cejudo took Sergio Pettis to school on the ground. The former Olympic gold medalist wrestler took Pettis down and controlled him at will for 3 rounds. Cejudo even conducted himself well in stand-up as he faked level changes and landed enough strikes to put Pettis in peril. Sometimes you see a fighter lose and wonder what he or she could do if they had another shot at their opponent.